Hi, Angus. Lewis and I Lewis from Cleveland Containers, myself from YBA, wanted to have a chat with you to understand your journey and just tell us more about what you've done, how you've got to where you've got to, and share the journey. So, Angus, over to you. Tell us a little bit about the business and why did you get into it?
We had a bit of land at the back of the farm which wasn't being utilised. It used to be rented out for a digger training compound, so it was all perfect setup. It was soil bund all the way around, one entrance in, hard standing, and just sort of looking for the next diversification for the farm. Got chatting to James Bulmer from Cleveland Containers, and he sort of floated the idea about self-storage. So bit of research, and he sent over quite a few case studies, and we sort of did pricing and worked out returns and investment and all of that, and thought we'll have a go. It's quite a simple setup really, because you just plonk. We started off with 12, so we just plonked 12 containers down and tried renting them out and went from there really.
As you do. So where did the idea of the containers come from originally?
I've seen it before. I've seen a few people doing it, and I thought it was the perfect space for it really. We could line them up across. It was hard standing. We didn't have to put any utilities there. There's no electricity. There's nothing else like that. They're fairly well hidden as well, and good security for it.
You're quite rural, aren't you, Angus, where you are? Was there any sort of nerves when you first started getting the containers down? Like, what were the initial challenges, would you say?
Yeah, a little bit, because we're out the way, but we've got a few commercial properties on the farm that we rent out, and people really like the fact that it's still a commercial yard, but it's hidden away. We're out the way, but we are very close to the A63 and the M62. So we're close to everything, but we're also hidden away, and it's quite private. And then a few customers who approached us, they were like, "Oh, you're a bit far away." And then when they came down, they're like, "Oh, we really like it. It's quiet. It's out the way. It's hidden. People don't really know it's here." And I think that seems to be our sort of niche. We're a rural self-storage facility.
And it's interesting because that's such an important thing, is to think about what's your USP, what makes you different. And when somebody gets in contact with you, answering that question is so vital to be able to fill the spaces.
What things did you try initially when you first set up? Like, what were you trying to get? How were you promoting the business when you first started?
Didn't really have much of a thought about. We sort of did it, put some containers down, and then we're like, right, now we need to get them rented. When we started renting a few of the sheds out, a lot of people did contact us about just sort of general storage, but I think they didn't realise the size of the sheds we were renting out. So I went back to a few of those and said, "Oh, we're doing self-storage now. It's something you'd be interested in." And a few of them sort of, were semi-keen, but didn't really get much off. And then typical, I started on Facebook, just did like Facebook Marketplace and a few other things like that. Set up an Instagram account, set up a Facebook account, and then just went on all like the local village residents group chats, which most of them don't really like you promoting businesses, but when they're up there for a little while, and got a bit of traction. So I think we eventually started November 2023, and then by, I can't remember when it was, like we got a couple by December, and then January, February, March, I think we were sort of 5 filled. And that was all really my own stuff that I'd done for free, and put a few flyers up and stuff like that. Not really chucked any money at the marketing side of it at that point.
What was your customer mix at that point? Was it mainly residential?
We had one guy who's a small business, and the other ones were all house moves. It was a steady start, which we expected, and wasn't really getting that many leads really, and there was no really way of controlling the leads. I didn't understand where they were coming from. So chatted to James, and yourself came down and took some photos. I did a promo video for us and things like that. And then James recommended YBA and Laura. So dropped them an email, had a quick chat, and then you sort of explained what you could do and where you could get us. And I was quite skeptical at the start for the amount of money it was. And I think it was Matthew who explained where we would be in sort of 6 months. And I was like, I'm not quite sure it will be, but we'll try it. And it was incredible. The numbers just doubled and tripled.
We're just closing March, but you got over 50 inquiries in February at, just over £10 an inquiry. So smashing it.
Really good.
Yeah, we couldn't quite keep up with demand. I think every time we got, well, there was one day I had 2 containers delivered and the people were waiting outside the gate for the containers to be on the floor so they could get moved in.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Laura, how did you start with Angus? What's kind of your approach? Angus comes to you saying, look, I need some more leads. Where's your starting point, really?
Yeah, the first thing we look at is how many people are searching locally and what is the demand, because you're very much dictated by how many people are looking locally. So we would look at that, and then we would look at, okay, where are you as a business now? How many inquiries are you getting, which you were kind of, doing organically and doing it through a bit of Facebook sort of activities, but it wasn't a repeatable and almost like scalable route of being able to get them through. So then we would look at, right, you are here, you want to be getting this many inquiries through, what do we need to put in place? So then we, because we work with over 60 different self-storage clients, so we know the keywords, we know the format of what needs to be done. What we didn't understand is, okay, what makes you different? And that's what I was saying earlier. We need to identify what it is that makes you different. It could be security, it could be an offer, it could be the location. You've got to really lean into what is more attractive for somebody that's searching. And that was something that we worked at. So then we were able to build this repeatable way of kind of making the phone ring, really.
Would that be your preferred channel, Angus? People ringing you, or obviously you've got a store website, which is, like, in my opinion, one of the best things to do when you are starting self-storage. Or would you prefer people just to book online? How would you like to do with customers?
Easiest way is when they just book online and don't contact me and then turn up. That's the easiest way. But it's normally the younger generation who just, you can see the lead come through, they've done the price reveal, 5-10 minutes later, they've booked it, and then they turn up. That's sort of where the younger lot are. And then a lot of people do want to confirm that. You can see them fill out the see prices, the price reveal, and then they'll ring up and they'll double check, and then they want to know. But with a store, it's so much easier working with them. Everything's done online. Just sort of forget about it. And I like to think that we're relatively easy for people to book because there's no deposit, there's no minimum term. They can tell us when they'll move in, tell us when they move out. They don't have to give any notice or anything. I think that's what people like, and I think that's how we've gained a few customers from other competitors as well, because things are just quite easy, really.
What's your furthest customer, Angus? Do you know that? Do you see that? How far are people coming?
Early days, someone moved from Essex to the local area, and they had a removal company came and just chucked all the stuff in the container, and then over sort of 6 months, they steadily took stuff out and moved into the new home.
That's really interesting, because Laura, I would always think, actually, you Google Ads, you would just focus maybe on a radius around your site and stuff. But then, like what Angus just said, then if you do get people who are moving to an area, you don't want to limit yourself by not showing your ads if people are searching out of that area. Quite an interesting thing to think about when you're setting up your ad account. You don't want to lose out on leads when people are inquiring out of areas. Because not everyone is going to be living or searching in your area.
Yeah. So there's a number of campaigns that we would have, which is the local campaign, which is including the self-storage type keyword plus the local area. Then you can have an out of area campaign, because it could be that they're up in Scotland, but they want to move to Cave. So they would, you don't want to miss that opportunity, but they have to put in a very specific search term that would be self-storage plus the town that you fulfill. Also, the other thing is brand keywords as well. So protecting your brand. So if somebody's searching for store mill, then, you can, control that keyword too. So there's a number of different ways of doing it, but certainly out of area, whilst it's limited, there's not going to be a huge amount of people searching. You want to be able to be seen when people do out of the area looking for a storage company in that particular town. So what impact do you think the Google Ads has had on your business? Like, if you didn't do the Google Ads, where do you think you would be now?
I don't think we'd have as many containers as we've got. But I'd like to think that we would have got a bit known in the area, and people, it seems to be a lot more popular nowadays, people storing things. yeah, I think it would have been a lot harder to get the leads that we'd got. I'd have done a lot more advertising myself and just sort of flyers and maybe done the post office leaflet drop and things like that, which they are quite expensive. That route we would have gone down, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The big difference is the buyer intent. So somebody on Google is looking for the storage effectively with their credit card in the back pocket, looking for, the right company and the right fit for them, somebody that they can trust, that's local, good location.
What's the ongoing strategy, Angus? I think your site's pretty full at the moment. What's your current occupancy at the moment?
We're over 90%. I've got 3 people moving in tomorrow. We've got 61 on site, and when these people move in tomorrow, we'll be 58 occupied.
Is your ongoing strategy with Google still to invest and still drive the leads? Because I'm guessing you've still got some turnover, people checking out. So are you still as aggressive when you first started PPC, or have you tapered it back a bit?
We increased it a few months ago, ever so slightly, but I didn't really see the need to increase it because we were getting such quality of leads and we were still filling and we're occupying. And yeah, we were buying new containers sort of every few weeks just to keep up with demand. So I didn't see the point of increasing it while we were still getting high demand than I expected. But no, it's not really, ever since we started Google Ads, it's not steadied off, to be honest. It's just been a constant stream of good leads, really.
Have you got any plans to expand, maybe another site? If there is, it sounds like there's a lot of demand in that area if you're getting a constant stream of good leads.
Definitely there seems to be, yeah. We're just going to keep going as we are now. When we start getting sort of mid 90% capacity, we just buy a few more and expand that way. And definitely looking at different sites. Yeah, but just trying to work out where we go. Do we go a few miles down the road? Do we go 10, 15 miles down the road, or even further? But just going to do a bit more research in the other villages and see what other storage companies are about and where we could fit in, really.
What sort of one piece of advice that you might think of for somebody else that would have been in your position starting out in self-storage? What's the biggest bit that you've thought, God, if only I'd have known that. If somebody had told me that would have been brilliant. Apart from obviously finding YBA.
Yeah, I'd say marketing is the biggest thing, to be honest. We're farmers, don't know anything about marketing. Don't be scared to try things, really. That's all we've done. We'll have a go with Sora. Yeah, we'll have a go with Cleveland. Yeah, we'll have a go with YBA. And yeah, you don't know if you don't try.
So far, what's your experience been with YBA?
Yeah, very good, very simple, easy to do, really. Just sort of told you what we wanted and just leave you to it, really.
So you mentioned you're at 90% occupancy. Are you doing anything with pricing? I know Stora's just released the new, the new nice little price increase tool. I think some people have some really good results with that. Have you dabbled or anything like that yet? Or
I've not, to be honest. No, I've sort of tried to keep it as simple as possible because a lot of people have come to us are annoyed that the previous people they've been with because they kept putting the prices up, and they said, "You won't put your prices up, will you?" I said, "Well, that's not really planning on. I think if we're a bit further in the future, yeah." I don't really see the point because we're building up a good customer base at the moment, and people do seem to stay with us quite a bit longer. What we're doing now is working, so just going to keep at it, really.
And do you show your prices online, or do you put prices in the adverts, Laura? Like what have you? Anything? Do you see any impact on that? Would people do that? Showing prices in ads, showing prices online?
Very much depends on what local competitors are doing. You've got to look at what everybody else around you is doing. If they've got an offer in the headline and in the ad copy, then you've got to find some way to sort of chip against that. So it's very much locally dependent on what others are doing, really. I would highly recommend gated pricing because then you are able to gather people's information. But also from a Google Ads perspective, what it does is it then feeds without getting too techie, it feeds the algorithm for Google. So it knows the sort of people that are interested. So then what you're doing is you're continually optimizing the performance of the account because we're feeding it this information. So if you could go back to day one, what would you do differently, Angus? Anything you'd have done differently?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. We just sort of, it all just happened quite quickly, really.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people start, though, isn't it? They just get a few containers down and then see how it goes. And before they know it, like you said, you've got 50, 60 containers on site.
Yeah, that was a sort of our idea, really, because it's quite a low risk to start off with, because we had the only sort of outgoings at the time were the store subscription, and we paid for the containers. But if it didn't work out, you just sell the containers because they're always going to be worth what they're worth. That's why I thought it was relatively low risk. And then, a few months down the line, we were buying more, and then next thing we're in double figures and we're on.
From a business perspective, do you find that there's any challenges with running effectively two kind of businesses? You've got the farm business and then you've got the storage business. Do you feel that it draws your time, effort and energy away from one, or do you find the good balance between the two?
Not so much. Now we're getting a little bit bigger. It does take up a lot more of my time, but not so much. I can still do if someone's booked, I can still do the allocation and everything on my phone, start on the tractor and things like that, and invoicing. Stripe does all of that. Not too bad, really. It's fairly self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm. How have you found the so obviously we've got our Box Plus service where we've been in the SSA association a fair few years now. In my opinion, we know all the best suppliers there who help people unlock their full potential and help them grow. How have you found just that part of it, right? Being able to lean on us, and then in the introductions made, has it helped? Do you feel supported?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll trust all your recommendations because they've all been very good, and so you've helped us out as well, coming down and doing all the photos and the video things for us, and you've done case studies on us, which is promoted us quite well. But all your recommendations have been good. Store has been very good, and YBA as well. Can't really fault that.
Great. So what's next for Stormill?
I think we might do some more smaller sizes. We got a 20-foot and we cut it down, sort of put 2 personnel doors in and put dividing wall. The 2 10-foots, they're all rented out. They went fairly quick. Got a couple of 40-foots as well, but they seem to be, the people who take that seem to be fairly long-term, sort of smaller businesses. So I think we'll push on with those, and then hopefully keep our eye out for another site and try and expand a little further afield.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot, Angus. Lewis, have you got any other questions?
No, I think we've covered everything now. It's been really good to hear the story and how we've supported you, really. It's good.
Yeah, and same on the Google Ads side. It's great to be a part of your growing journey and having such a financial sort of impact on the business by getting you the leads and inquiries through into the business to support your desired growth. So it's been great.
Yeah,
no, it's been good from our end as well. Really, it's helped us get to where we are today. So thank you all for your help.
So we'll wrap up there. I think a good ending point. I think all positive, and hopefully a lot more success and growth for you in the future, Angus.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Everything goes our way, and hopefully see what happens.